And we've been waiting for this day for a long time. It's opening day in the NBA. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here in the start of a new season. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. And joining us in a bit later from the sidelines, Doris Burke. You can feel the energy here in Air Canada Center. The Raptors looking to please their fans in this Eastern Conference matchup. This game against Indiana, the first game of the NBA's regular season. They were able to sweep the season series last year, completely controlling the play in each game.
And they were unbeaten against this club last season. Not surprising considering where they both finished in the standings.
Yeah, it's really plain as pound cake. They're the better team. I mean, they'll look to prove it again here tonight.
Now a chance, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. The starting five on the floor. On the court for Indiana, they've got Paul George. Ellis is out there with Hill. Then it's Turner. And it's Allen in at the four-man position.
And for Luis Scola, a very different role for him over the last 2 years. I mean, he was a starter for most of his career, then signed with Indiana, who had David West at the four. Off the bench, though, Scola still played efficiently, but he was just used to putting up much bigger numbers for other teams.
Ellis can't get it to go. Pacers on defense. That's good. DeRozan's got his first points in this one.
Such a strong finisher on the fast break.
And, Greg, I love the fact he's always in control. Even though he's going at breakneck speed, he still maintains his body control.
Now, here's George. And a miss there on the triple. And, oh, here we go. DeRozan, nobody back.
With that reverse jam, the fans got a little extra show there.
That one definitely had something, you're right, extra on it.
Man, I got to pick my jaw off the floor after that one, guys.
No one near Turner as he lets it go. And the officials call a traveling violation. For Toronto, they've gone 3 of 4 from the field to start out the game. That is his first foul of the game. Lowry up top. He's guarded by Hill. Scola dishes to Lowry. Three-pointer. And the shot is good. Lowry's got himself on the board with 3 there.
And early on, they've been nearly perfect from the floor. Just the one miss here on their first 5 attempts.
The 3 from George. That doesn't go either for George.
They are 0 for the game thus far. 0 of 4 here, still looking for their first make.
And the foul on Monte Ellis. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. That should have been a block, and it was.
Pushing their lead to double digits.
It's pretty simple, guys. It's not complicated. The solution to ending this run would be to get back and actually be serious about playing some defense here.
Yeah, they're getting beat down the floor. And really, unless you're going to the glass, you have got to sprint back defensively.
Allen, that's good.
Boy, the 5th time's the charm. That's a big basket there.
Here's Toronto. They're on an 11-2 run. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, I briefly spoke with Dwayne Casey. This is their first matchup of the season against this squad, and he knows the shot blocking in the middle will certainly be an obstacle. But he said, quote, we've got to remain aggressive and continue bigs and high pick and rolls, and shooting the open jumper with confidence will be key. We'll see how they do.
And Doris, as always, thanks. And guys, do you agree with Coach's game plan here, given how tough the D is that they're going to go up against?
I really do. I think they're such a hard team to generate offense against. That has to be where they devote most of their attention.
Well, as long as it doesn't come at the expense of their own defense, fellas. I mean, they can't concentrate so intensely on offense, they forget to defend.
You know, the defense was lax right there, and he's able to make them pay.
Outside DeRozan, all alone. And another basket for Toronto.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Pacers trail by 8. Kicks to Allen. Puts up a 3. Offensive rebound, Pacers. And here's Ellis for three. That's basket number 2 with his third shot off to a fast 2 for 3.
And that's good stuff from him. Nice touch.
Well, the one word you can use to describe the Raptors postseason last year, disaster. I mean, Greg, nothing went right for them.
Yeah, I mean, after that great regular season, they were completely just manhandled by the Wizards, swept out of the first round in 4 straight.
They're in the position they're in right now, thanks in no small part to the show that he's putting on in this period.
Allen for the 3. Allen with another miss. Toronto leading by 7.
Well, I tell you, the Raptors really were befuddled with how that series went. I mean, they just never got things going and became the first team to get swept with home court advantage in the playoffs since 2011.
Scola kicks to Lowe.
And despite that miss, a strong start for them offensively.
Yeah, they're scoring with confidence, Greg, making them count in the early going here.
George, that's a 2-pointer. And the rejection by Valanciunas. From deep. No good. Now Toronto takes it the other way. And here we go with DeRozan running it up the middle. They get it back.
And that's the way you want to defend. Nice job there.
Always important to have that good interior defense.
Outside Turner. George, that's a 2-pointer. And it's George again missing.
And guys, you look at the Raptors last season and how they stumbled at times. You could see that they would have trouble in the postseason with a sweep coming, but that's what it ended up being.
And so here is Indiana after the Raptors pick up 2. Hill, no good. And the call will be against George Hill. That's foul number 2 for him. Johnson, he's checked in for Toronto. The Pacers also changing it up. Mahimi comes in for Turner. And it's Hill in for Lavoy Allen. And the call will be against George Hill. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far.
Ouch. 3 fouls for him already. And now if you're the coach, you got to think about sitting him down.
Rodney Stuckey's checked in for Indiana. Here's Lowry. Can't get it to go. Good work defensively by Stuckey. Ellis, the pass to George. It's stolen by Carroll. Now the Raptors moving it up. Lowry's got the ball and finished off by DeRozan.
No doubt they've come into this game with a really aggressive approach, just pounding the ball inside.
It certainly is working. They're finding the open lanes to the hoop and owning this game early.
Here is Lowry. Now DeRozan. Valanciunas with a screen on Stuckey. The wide open look here for DeRozan. And it's good. He planted his feet on the pick and shielded the defender off.
How about the start that they've gotten off to here? Huge lead, and we're still in the first quarter.
And guys, it hasn't just been the scoring. I mean, they're playing tremendous defense too. Well, it's hard to believe that we're at this point in the game and he still hasn't registered a single point.
Moving it around, 8 of their last 10 coming off assists.
And Greg, you know nothing makes a coach happier than selflessness on the basketball court.
Now, here's Mahimi. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. There's the screen, and here's Ellis from beyond the arc, and they will call over the back on the play.
Yeah, not afraid of the physical play, but he still needs to stay under control.
Yeah, he obviously was not under control right there. Not much doubt he was going to get whistled for the over-the-back call.
All right, well, a look at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Raptors.
They've set the first half tone by getting out on the fast break and getting the defenders on their heels.
The other thing that's helped them early tonight are the points they've been able to convert off turnover.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Patrick Patterson, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Ross comes in for DeMar DeRozan. And Corey Joseph subbed in for Kyle Lowry. And guys, we saw a nice development for James Johnson last year. He was 59% from the floor. Closest he had ever come to that in his 6 years was 46%. What a dramatic Clark improvement there.
Yeah, and I think it was all due to shot selection. He dialed back on the number of threes that he was taking the year before, and his percentage went up.
Shot to stop the run. He lays it in.
C.J. Miles.
Miles has got his first points in this one.
I like it. I like it. He broke out the fancy finish there.
Ross on the wing. The shot is off. So Indiana will take it the other way.
And back to James Johnson. Yeah, he improved his shooting percentage, but the rest of his game has been kind of in a holding pattern. He's averaging neither highs nor lows in any other category, and that means to me he may have flattened out in terms of reaching his potential.
Patterson, that's good.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
That's right. 5 of their last 6 makes were on the interior. They've established their inside presence.
Stuckey for 3. The offensive rebound. And stolen by Patterson. Ross dishes to Patterson. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
And here's a look at the stats for Stuckey. Some last season stats for him. Last season, put up about 12 points per game, 3 assists and 3 rebounds. And you look at those numbers, not bad, but guys, I think he can do better, and he knows it.
And he has high expectations for himself as well, guys, but he just hasn't delivered fully on his potential yet.
Hill, he's checked.
James Johnson, the reality is he's a role player. Like most NBA guys, he certainly can be a valuable role player, especially if he can shoot near 60% from the field again. But don't expect him to suddenly become LeBron. That's not his game, nor his ceiling.
Stuckey. Indiana again missing.
Well, I tell you what, that's too good a look to pass up there. Even though it didn't go, that's one you got to take.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
That's his second personal foul.
Well, I'm sure you guys have heard this, that the nickname that has been given to DeMarre Carroll, the Junkyard Dog, I think it's apropos. Kid drafted out of Missouri back in the 2009 draft.
Yeah, and he actually had to show perseverance to hang around as he bounced around a bit. But I think he's found a home now.
The Pacers making a change here. Allen's checked in. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
They got to find something, you're right. For 3, Hill. The rebound by Patterson.
And Carroll, an energy player who's developed a reliable three-point stroke. I mean, he can also hurt you in transition. He's got terrific size and athleticism, and he also really knows how to play without the basketball. Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
That's good.
A good open look, and he splashes home the 3.
Raptors leading by 21.
And Carroll, by advanced stats, one of the most productive small forwards in our league. I mean, one thing I like, even as he's developed into a three-point threat, he still has an instinct for cutting to the rim off the ball when his defender turns his head. I mean, one of the things I think that allows his team to be so good is his understanding of how to play the game.
Now here's Stuckey. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard.
There's some good defense for you. I mean, for somebody who's as good as shooting the 3.
That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Kia. Good stuff on that Kia Slam Cam. Here's Hill after Toronto picking up the basket just moments ago. Shot is off. We've got 1:08 left to play in the first quarter.
What to lead you to the right place with that pass? Money.
Inside. That's good on the assist from Joseph. Johnson's got his second bucket of the night.
Defensively, they've been a step slow here to start.
Giving up too many open shots. I mean, that's what's happening here, Greg. They look to me to be a bit sluggish.
Now here is Hill. Fader on the way. No good.
Way to stay alert and grab the long rebound.
Now here's Joseph. He's guarded by Hill, and Joseph kicks to Johnson. Patterson, the screen from deep. That drops. Carroll's got 12 in the game.
He couldn't have dreamed of a much better start here than they've had today.
I think the offensive game plan they came in with was right on point. It's worked perfectly, and the lead they already have is proof in the pudding.
Stuckey for three. No good.
And how many extra possessions have they gotten because of that rebounding edge?
Well, it's been a bunch, and I think it's made the difference in the game. I mean, they've actually done a great job on the board.
And the buzzer sounds to end the first, and we've got a blowout underway here. Toronto ahead, just dominating this one. And we'll be back with you for the start of the second. And DeMar DeRozan, the star for this Toronto Raptors team, he said he wants to bring them.
A lot of people never really pay no attention to the Raptors. They just look at the Raptors like another team, you know. So when I came, you know, I just wanted to bring that feeling back and the excitement that everybody had for the Raptors.
Let's face it, it's never easy for Toronto to get the attention that Clark, the U.S. teams get. That's just a fact of life that even Vince Carter at his best couldn't change.
And, you know, I don't even know if winning a championship would change that. Quite honestly, even if DeMar won the MVP. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time for a comeback. And a very convincing performance from the Raptors so far.
Smooth sailing from an offensive standpoint thus far.
No other way to put it, Greg. They've made it really look easy so far.
Lowry and DeRozan are the guard tandem. James Johnson is out there with Scola. And it's Valanciunas in at the center, locking down the middle. That's the five out there for the Raptors. And in front of you now is a list of the players with the highest shooting percentage last season. Jonas Valanciunas is second.
Put the ball in the bucket. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? I mean, just ask him. He'll have the answer for you.
Rodney Stuckey with the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Indiana on D. Outside Lowry. From 17 feet out. It's rebounded by Indiana.
The shot's there for him, and he's got to take it. I don't care if he doesn't convert. That's a shot he has to continue to take.
Everyone knows about the Paul George injury from last year and how it affected the Pacers. He said almost the entire season, and there was no doubt they missed him.
Yeah, and when George came back, Kevin, the Pacers got hot, but they had to put him on a minutes limit. And it wasn't just George, though. The team as a whole had a lot of injuries during the course of the season.
From deep, George. There's the foul. It's on Mahinmi. And that'll be his third foul so far. Jordan Hill, he's checked in for Ian Mahinmi. Toronto, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field here to open the second quarter. Lowry against Stuckey. Lowry passes to Valanciunas. Kicks it out to Johnson. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
And, you know, as you said, the Pacers did have problems with injuries. The team roster missed 219 games due to injury. So compare that to the 69 games missed by the Pacers in 2014. Big difference.
To the paint. It's deflected. George against Lowry. And it's George finishing it off.
Superb playmaking from Monte Ellis. That dish was right on time.
The Raptors shooting 61% from the field, showing some marvelous touch out there.
And really, guys, the most telling part of the Pacers' injury troubles was this. Had to use 15 different starting lineups over the course of the season. Just hard to stay consistent and competitive when you are always replacing an injured player in the lineup.
So it's Toronto now. Johnson dishes to DeRozan. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. That's on Monte Ellis. thing about DeMar DeRozan, he came into the league fairly unpolished, struggled to handle the ball, created then his own shot, and but sometimes he would create for others too. But he's settled down. You can see the growth.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. You could see the physical talent was there in terms of him playing the two. The question was, could he make the commitment mentally to become a great player? Well, from what he's done the last few years, I would have to say he's definitely been able to do that.
C.J. Miles, he's checked in for Indiana. At the elbow, it's Turner. Back to Stuckey. Pass to Miles. The three ball. Can't get it to go. Good work defensively by Lowry.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead.
And really a reflection of their superior effort level to this point. It seems to me they've gone after this win a little bit more.
Very dangerous to leave a guy like that open. Lucky break there for the D.
It's stolen by Lowry. And it's Rodney Stuckey with the foul. And that'll be his third foul so far.
Already he's looking at his third foul. I think the coach will probably look to sit him down until the third quarter.
And for Kyle Lowry, last season was full of milestones. First, he signs the big contract extension for 4 years. Then he earns his first ever All-Star selection. Unfortunately, he didn't finish as strong with the postseason, but a terrific year.
And the foul is called. He intentionally grabbed him there for some reason. I don't know.
Kevin, all I can think of is that he's trying to slow the game down a little bit.
Right.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part.
And on the topic of Lowry, he became only the third Toronto Raptor ever, Clark, to be voted into the All-Star game.
Yeah, you know, Bosch and Vinsanity, the other two. Lowry also participated in the All-Star Weekend skills.
A tenacious leader for the Raptors.
Yeah. You know, that's been a big part of their offense in the early stages. I mean, their success working the ball inside and getting points from close range, right at the rim.
And Clark, they might as well keep doing it. I mean, attack the basket until the defense makes an adjustment.
That's good. 8 points for Johnson.
And the interior D is really starting to be exposed here. How many layups have they gotten today?
Outside Hill takes the three. And it's Toronto with the rebound. Valanciunas has got 4 rebounds in this game.
Just a solid performance on the interior. The rebounding has been off the charts.
Yeah, you look across the board, it's actually sizing up, shaping up to be a great game. I mean, strong performances throughout, and they've really been strong on the glass.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync, tremendous communication and awareness.
And the call will be against George Hill. That will get him his 4th foul of the game, and due to the bonus, we'll head to the line for 2. The Raptors have gone 9 of 10 from the line, so making the most of their chances.
Yeah, and 79% from the line as a team a season ago. Pretty reliable in that regard.
And, you know, that just added to their confidence at the offensive end. I mean, knowing that free throw shooting was something they didn't have to worry about gave them a lot of confidence to play freely.
This one for 3. And that one's good. Hill's got 6. For Toronto, they've gone 4 of 7 from the field in this second quarter so far. Scola, a screen on Hill. And Lowry gets it to go.
That's a precision shot. You've got to be precise. No room for error on the floater.
Stuckey for 3. Stuckey with another miss.
And another miss. Ooh, he's having a really ugly game.
Yeah, about as ugly as you can have, you're right. DeRozan, a good look, and the Raptors tack on 2 more.
And really, it looks like he may just try to take this thing over on his own and really build that lead up.
And here's Hill for 3. Rebounded by Valanciunas. Valanciunas has got 5 rebounds tonight. The Raptors have gone 6 of 9 in the second quarter. Some good work from the field. Lowry kicks to DeRozan. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. 22 points for DeMar DeRozan. The Pacers shooting around 29% from the floor. A tough night for them all around on the offensive end. Again, missing Hill.
And not a night he's going to want to remember, just not really able to score the basketball.
On the wing, Johnson. Plenty of space. And it's good off the back rim and in. Johnson's got 10 points in the game.
And as they continue to just dominate this game, you have to wonder, how much can they win by?
Well, it's on the verge of getting out of hand, Greg. You can feel it. You can see it. In part because the defense has been about as good as the offense, and both have been really good.
And one bright note for the Pacers last season was the play of their bench. Adding Rodney Stuckey was a huge boost for them.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto, Patrick Patterson. He's checked in for Scola. And it's Joseph in for James Johnson. In Indiana with the change here, too. Ellis is checked in. Screened by Valanciunas. Joseph. No good from Valanciunas. And Stuckey led the charge for the Pacers bench, Greg, as you were talking about. But all around the reserves, Clark, were fantastic on the Pacers.
Yeah, third in the league at almost 41 points per game off the bench. First in the NBA in bench rebounding. And top 10 in field goal percentage as a bench.
The Pacers shooting their third and fourth free throw attempts of the game. In the last few years, the Toronto fans have made a strong case for being the loudest in the league. And Greg, you know, the Air Canada Center can sound like a 60,000 capacity crowd during the playoffs.
It is really unreal. It gives the Raptors a huge advantage here at home. Toronto and Canada will always be hockey first, but they love their Raptors here in the North.
Stuckey into the lane. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. Stuckey's got 5 points in the quarter.
You always hear about chemistry. That's a perfect example, knowing where each other is at all times.
Patterson setting the pick for Joseph. Shoots off the screen. Bounces high off the rim and drops. Patterson's got his second bucket tonight.
You know, the Raptors were top 5 in attendance last season as well. I mean, fans had plenty to cheer about as the team finished with 27 home wins on the year. Even with every shot clanging off the rim, he seems determined to keep hoisting up these threes. It might be time to get inside of that arc.
It's been about tempo and pace with this group, and it's led to a huge advantage in fast break points.
Greg, it's really the main reason they're in front. All that early offense. I mean, when they've had the chance to push it, they've pushed it.
And the Raptor franchise record for home wins is 30, set back in 07. And you get the feeling with the way the crowd gets into it, that record won't stand much longer.
All of the scoring in tight is coming at that end of the court.
You know, they found the holes in the defense and really doing a great job of exploiting them.
Hill drives in, and lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
A chance now to see the numbers for Monte Ellis. Some last season stats for him. 8th in steals and amongst the league's top-tier scorers. Top 20 in points per game.
And top 10 in steals, as you said last year. Always a threat to cause a turnover. They've been getting more and more physical as this game has gone along.
And it's starting to pay dividends. They've gotten a lot of trips to the line because of it in this second.
Mahinmi's checked in for Turner. And what you have to like out of Valanciunas last season, improved efficiency. The game really, Clark, seemed to slow down for him.
Yeah, he entered the league a little green. I mean, would make a lot of mistakes, but had excellent tools. So with enthusiasm and hard work, you knew it was just a matter of time with him.
And the rejection by Mahinmi. Now the Pacers moving it up. Here's Hill. Yes, and it's Ellis picking up the assist. That's 7 points for Hill.
Wow, the floor just really opened up for him on that possession.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for good offense, but that was just a terrible reaction from the defense. There is no way a player like him can be left wide open like that. Did you pay attention to the scouting report?
Stuckey for 3. Stuckey with another miss.
Kevin, I tell you, his three-point shot has looked awful here in the second quarter. He's trying to shoot his way out of his slump, but he needs to give it a rest and try something else.
Raptors have been getting it done at the line, 10 for 12. Indiana didn't have a great record on the road last season. Only went, Clark, 15 and 26 on the year, and it cost them down the stretch.
It really did, Kevin. I mean, the Pacers had a bumpy year with all of the injuries, particularly with George being out for most of the year. His absence was most noted in those tough road games, I think.
Carroll against George. pass to Mahimi. 6 on the shot clock. Indiana moving the ball around. From deep, Miles. The shot misses. And it's the Raptors taking it the other way.
And for the Pacers, perhaps the biggest loss of the season for them was on the road. Couldn't get it done in Memphis on the final day of the season to try and get into the postseason.
The three from George. And he gets it to go. George has got 8 points.
And he has really come to life here after a slow start in that first quarter.
Here's Carroll. It falls for the 6th time in 7 tries this contest. That's 86%.
Well, here's a little factoid about the Pacers on the road last season, guys. They were much better shooting free throws on the road. The difference between their road and home free throw percentage was the largest positive mark in the league. That's kind of strange. Not only is their lead big, but their advantage on the boards is huge, too.
They've been the aggressors, plain and simple, outworking them, fighting for every loose ball.
Free throw good, Joseph.
You know, he didn't get to the line in that entire first quarter. But right now, he's showing some aggressiveness out there.
And Joseph drops them both.
You know, Dwayne Casey was once a player at Kentucky, took me and hosted me on my recruiting visit at Kentucky back in 1979. Actually got his coaching start at the school as well.
And here's Ellis from beyond the arc. Ross grabs the board.
Not able to find it here in the second. He's off stride and off track just a bit after that one he had earlier.
And there's the foul. It goes on C.J. Miles. That's his first foul of the game, and the bonus will go to the free throw line. As we were talking about Coach Dwayne Casey, he's found his place in Toronto. Took them, Greg, to back-to-back postseason appearances.
And, you know, it's good to see him finally establishing himself as a head coach. Really known as a defensive specialist, but once he gets in charge of a team, he'll have them focused on defense and really stresses that in every practice.
And that one's good.
He can be a forgotten man in their offense sometimes, but the D still has to keep an eye on him.
Patterson a screen on Ellis. There's 48 seconds left in the second quarter. Here's Patterson. Hits it from three-point range. Patterson's got 9 points.
And how about that for a response?
Well, it sounded as though, or at least it looked as though it sounded like, we'll give you a 3, and then we'll take it right back.
For 3, Ellis. Ross grabs the board. Ross has got 3 rebounds now in this one.
You know, he's been off his game this quarter just a bit. Hasn't been able to...
Jam! I mean, just beautiful. Here he comes, and there he goes.
Look at him punish that rack.
Check out the fellas. Check out his teammates over on the bench. So they are going crazy. I love the ball movement there. He put that on a silver platter. Just served him up.
Now, here's Joseph. He's covered closely. Here's Valanciunas, and he banks in the layup. Valanciunas has got his 3rd bucket of the night.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening.
It really is, Clark. The defenders need to do a better job of closing.
And through the first half,